Hey friends, Chris Maholka here. Everybody that I know that ties has their favorite dubbing, and it might be a special color or a special blend of materials that works well for them for their favorite fly patterns for whether they're trout or bass or steelhead or salmon fishing. And I have one in particular that when I go to the fly shop, I usually buy whatever they have on the shelf, 3 or 4 bags of it, because I know I'm going to use it a lot and I don't want to have to depend on a supply not being there when I need it. In this video, the number 4 in my dubbing series, I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of investigative work and figure out what your dubbing is made of and how you can go about making a large supply of your own for any time you need it. Let's get this started. So as far as the investigative part of this goes, there's only really a couple things you need. You need whatever the dubbing is you're going to try to match, and something to magnify that dubbing so you can have a really close look at it. This is a 15 power jeweler's loupe or magnifying loupe. You can get these at rock shows, jewelry shows, you can buy them online, different places. And all this is for is to look at the dubbing really close up and see what you can find as far as the makeup of the dubbing. So I'm just going to go and have a good close look at this, and that tells me pretty much everything I need to know on what I'm dealing with as far as dubbing. Let me explain this. So here's what I see when I get a good close-up of this. Of course, the material is red overall. What I'm looking for is the base material, or the main material in the mix, looking at the type of material it is and also the color to see if it's all just red or if there are other colors blended together. Then I'm looking at the flash, the sparkle, and I'm identifying if it's a crystal flash type material or just a flat mylar, and that tells me also the type of material that was mixed in to give it that flash in with the red. So let me show you what I saw and how to identify what it is. When judging these materials, there's a couple things to look for. This is rabbit hair. Natural, just plain white rabbit hair. Natural hairs are thicker at the bottom and taper as they go up to the top. And in most cases, natural hairs are relatively straight. You might find some that are wavy, but you're not going to find any that are really kinky or terribly curly. So if I looked at this dubbing and saw a nice long straight tapered hair or tapered material, I'd know it was a natural fur. When I look at this, I don't see that. What I see is a very kinky, wrinkly kind of material, which tends to make me believe it's synthetic. And what I have here is nylon yarn. Nylon is a trade name from, I believe it's DuPont. Antron is a trade name, and all Antron is a very fine nylon. It's all the same material, just the diameter of the fibers. So when I look through this, I find a straight, not tapered, very kinky material, which tends to make me believe that it's an Antron or nylon. So it makes me believe that it is a yarn type material that is the base for this. Now there's the flash. When you're dealing with flash, you can have a couple of different kinds. Like this is crystal flash, and it doesn't outwardly look like it's crystal flash. You look at it up close, it's more flat, smooth. It's not twisted like crystal flash is. So instead of thinking it's crystal flash, I'm looking at something more like a Flashabou or light bright type material, because this is flat, has the same different color spectrum, same color spectrum as the material I'm seeing in here. So what I tend to believe that this material is the kinky fibers of Antron or nylon with some flash blended into it. So let's show you how to make that material out of these two. When you blend things like Antron or nylon and any kind of flash, there are a couple things you need to do. You need to do it in steps. You could just put this all in here together and hit it, and you'd probably wind up twisting it in a knot and cutting it all to pieces before you got anything that was really usable. What you really need to do is take your nylon or Antron and cut it in pieces about equal to natural hair, about like that. Then give it a blend, and this gets those fibers separated and looking more like the dubbing you'd expect. So there we've got our red dubbing. Let me mention something about yarn like this. I don't keep large supplies of skeins of yarn or anything. What I do is stop at garage sales when I see them. A lot of times at garage sales, people that have been doing crafts and things will have little remnants of yarn like this for a nickel or a dime a pack. This will make probably 30 bags of dubbing if you bought it in the store, just by weight and judging the weight. You can find these in all different colors and stuff. These are leftover remnants from somebody that's doing rug crafting. It's Busilla rug yarn. You can find Aunt Lydia's rug yarn. The other thing that works really well is baby yarn. People that knit baby clothes that have little pieces of it left over. Colors aren't normally very, bright and brilliant. They're more pastels and things, but it's a nice, really fine nylon. If you have friends that knit, make sure that they put all their little scraps in a bag for you, because you may never know what kind of dubbing you're going to mix and what colors you want it to be. And then you'll have a bag of yarn ready to blend. So once we have this blended, we're about right on the color, but we don't have the flesh yet. So we'll keep that in there, and we'll take some of our Fleischabout dubbing here, pull off a wad of that. And again, if you leave it in there, one long piece, it will tend to wrap around and twist in knots. So we're going to cut it in about 3/4 inch long pieces, just enough, like about the same length as the yarn that we cut and put in there. We're going to give it a couple blends. Again, you don't want to blend too long, because you can cut and tear that mylar up. It isn't very strong stuff. After a couple shots like that, and you pull the lid off, look at that. We've got pretty much a perfect match to our commercial dubbing. Now, it isn't just salmon steelhead stuff. You can look at all different types of dubbing. If you watch my next video, I'm going to show you how to make a perfect stonefly nymph dubbing material. So finish this one up. I'll be making on the next one, and get ready for that, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.